Hi, James Jones from the Mid-Pacific ICT Center in San Francisco at our winter conference, January 2013. It's a beautiful day, and I'm here with Ron Lichty, who's a member of our advisory group and an experienced manager of software development efforts and programmers. So not everybody has that kind of real-world background, including teachers in our community colleges. Can you give us a little insight into that environment and the kinds of things that community college faculty should be aware of as they're developing people for that workforce?
Well, the talk I gave this morning was on teaching, on the fact that we're in an inflection point in software development at this point. We've had inflection points before. We've gone to object-oriented programming. This time we're going to Agile, and it's an opportunity to for the graduates of community colleges who have always who you know, to hiring managers, they're always going to pick experienced people. But at inflection points, students get an opportunity to come up almost equal with experienced people, and it's because in this particular case, what hiring managers are looking for is not just the what, they're looking for the how. So it's not just, so new graduates are not going to rank in their Java skills or their C++ skills or their C# skills or their Ruby or Scala or whatever the language is. They're not going to rank with an experienced programmer. But the how is the other thing that programming managers are looking for these days, and it's, do you know how to pair program? Do you know how to operate within a Scrum team? Do you know how to take responsibility in an Agile kind of way? And do you do testing before you do coding? Do you do test-driven development? And those kinds of Agile, Scrum, Lean, Kanban, extreme programming terms and concepts are the how. They're how we program. And we find ourselves as managers of software development having to train our teams, having to either look outside for folks who have that experience or having to train our teams to do that. And to the extent that we can, to the extent that a recent graduate has the how, they're going to rank up there with somebody who's got more experience with programming languages but doesn't have the how, because we don't have to retrain them in terms of in doing test-driven development or in doing pair programming or working in teams.
Yeah. So in being a software developer, there's certain knowledge and skills you need. A programming language, syntax, the ability to code. But when you apply that in the real world, usually you're not going to write that whole application yourself.
That's
you're going
right.
to have to team with others. And so how do you coordinate what you do with what others do, and how do you track that over time? And you know, the management of human and other resources in a project to develop a piece of software, there's that component of it, which is taught less than the skills of coding or the syntax and the constructs of languages and that kind of thing.
Right. So I've been managing software development for about 20 or 25 years. And as you know, I've written a book, Managing the Unmanageable, Rules, Tools, and Insights for Managing Software People and Teams. And I also go into organizations to mentor managers and also to teach teams how to do Scrum and how to do Agile and how to do extreme programming kinds of practices. And the industry right now suffers from a huge lack of skilled resources in the how, and how to do test-driven development and how to do extreme programming and how to do Scrum. in particular. You found a great article last week in eWeek that that described there being there being 5 jobs for every 1 skilled Agile developer.
Right.
And in California and Washington, it's 10 jobs for every 1 skilled Agile developer. And that's the opportunity for community colleges, is to fill in the number of skilled Agile developers, not from the development standpoint, because kids coming out of college aren't going to have that experience with Java or C++ or C# or Ruby or Scala or Clojure, but they're going to, but if they've been doing their classwork and their homework using pair programming, using test-driven development in Scrum teams, it's such an opportunity to not just put buzzwords on your resume, but when you get asked about those buzzwords, which you will be by a hiring manager, you can talk to your experience of having actually done that stuff. And that's a huge advantage.
Yeah. So there's this extraordinary and to some extent unrecognized demand for talent today in software development. And, you know, employers are screaming they cannot find the talent they need, even in this period of high unemployment, which is just befuddling. You know, it's all of these people looking for work, and, you know, employers can't find employees. Well, that mismatch is just something we need to fix
Right.
as a society.
Right, right.
So
Programmers, developers are probably the most employed group of people I know.
Yeah. So there's a tremendous opportunity for education to develop this workforce, to teach people to do this stuff. And it's more than just teach a programming language. It's teach how to work together in a team to deliver a software product.
That's right.
And so there's a challenge to education, you know, not just to develop the programming skills, which is important, but also to apply those skills in the classroom environment. Take on a project, you know, develop something together as a team. And if you can do that, those people are super valuable, and they will find a job like that.
Right.
And it's not just a job, it's a good job.
Right.
And it supports family. You know, one of the statistics that came out recently, for every 1 person that's employed in a job like that, you create 4.3 other jobs because of a multiplier effect in the local economy. So if we want to fix this economy, let's develop people who can do this stuff and the supporting jobs that develop in that economy, and let's move on. You know, everybody's tired of this malaise.
Yes.
Good. So if people want to find out more about your book, can you give us that title again and how to find it?
The book is called Managing the Unmanageable: Rules, Tools, and Insights for Managing Software People and Teams. The website is managingtheunmanageable.net, and my website is ronlichty.com.
Okay.
RONLICHTY.com.
Any other advice you have for teachers in our audience?
You know, in terms of Agile and what's most in demand, I think, from the managers I know, from having been a hiring manager myself and being a hiring manager from time to time, test-driven development and pair programming, and after that, Scrum. So test-driven development is the ability to test before you write code, and the responsibility, and knowing that you have the responsibility to do testing. And pair programming is the ability to work with someone else so that you don't have to do code reviews afterwards. You're doing code reviews as you go along. Both of those, you can Google pair programming, Google test-driven development, Google Scrum, look at the way those 3 things are done, and teach them teach them as here's how we're going to do this. We're going to learn Java or C++ or C#, but we're going to do it in this kind of way. And your students, by being able to put TDD or pair programming or Scrum on their resumes and then being able to speak to it, are going to get a huge benefit out of that, and the communities will get a huge benefit out of that as well.
Yeah.
And the institutions will get that appreciation for being relevant and providing quality in their education.
So students who hear the message that there is big demand for application developers and programmers today and decide they're going down that path, what advice would you have for them?
Find a project and do it. Go take the classwork, but then find your own project. Find a way to connect with the passion inside of yourself. And all of us have passion for life and oftentimes for making a difference in the world. And finding a way to connect your passion to learning to program.
Yeah. So don't just read the book, go out and do it.
Yeah.
And ideally do something that you care about, that you can be passionate about, and you'll learn everything you need to know along the way to be successful. Something like that?
Mm-hmm. Something like that. And community colleges are a great connection to that learning.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your knowledge. Check out his book.
Thanks, James.
All right.